Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janarandana Yashodanandana Vraja Janarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Nitya Gaura Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Gaura Hari Bo Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai. Welcome everyone to this morning's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita class. We are reading from the Madhya Lila chapter 11, the Veda Kirtan pastimes. And we'll start from, I'm going to start from text 27. This may have been read last week, but I think it sets the context for the verses that we'll cover today. So let's go back to that one. So we'll just, I think we'll just read the Sanskrit and, Bengali all together instead of doing it responsibly. Let me do a little Mangala Charana first. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachadesha Tarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yeah, so we're very grateful to Srila Prabhupada for giving us this wonderful book, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, translations and purports. So starting from text 27, we can do this, just do it in unison. Tomate eta priti aila rajara egune Krishna tanyare karibe angikara. Oh no, we're just gonna do it all together and that's it. Translation. Because the king has shown so much love for you, Lord Krishna will certainly accept him. So this is Lord Chaitanya speaking to Ramananda Rai. So Ramananda Rai was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, and he was also employed by the king, Maharaj Prataparudra. And so we've been discussing how this king, Maharaj Prataparudra, he was also a devotee of Krishna, and he was very devoted to Lord Chaitanya, and he was eager and intensely hankering for the association of Lord Chaitanya, but Lord Chaitanya was refusing to meet with him because he was a king, and you know, the sannyasi etiquette is that he shouldn't meet with materialistic people. So Lord Chaitanya was enacting this lila to enhance their loving relationship in, you know, refusing all of his requests to meet with him on account of his being a materialist, dealing with pounds, shillings, pence, politics, and, you know, mundane matters. But actually Lord Chaitanya knew that this Prataparudra was not an ordinary king, he was a devotee. And he's saying here that because the king has so much love for Ramananda Roy, who is a pure devotee very dear to Krishna, then he's saying, Lord Krishna will certainly accept him. In other words, he's saying, I will certainly accept him, because Lord Chaitanya is non-different from Krishna. He is exactly Swayam Bhagavan Krishna in another form. So just read the purport here, it explains more about the context. King Prataparudra requested an interview with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through the Bhattacharya, who duly submitted the request. The Lord, however, immediately refused this interview. Now, when Ramananda Roy informed the Lord how eager the king was to see him, the Lord was immediately pleased. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested Ramananda Roy to retire from his government post and come to Sri Purushottam Kshetra, Jagannath Puri, to live with him. When this proposal was submitted to King Prataparudra, he immediately accepted it and also encouraged Ramananda Roy by allowing him a full pension. This was very much appreciated by the Lord, and this confirms the fact that the Lord is more pleased when one serves the servant of the Lord. In ordinary parlance, it is said, if you love me, love my dog. To approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one has to go through his confidential servant. This is the method. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu clearly says, because the king loves you, Ramananda Roy, he is very fortunate. Certainly, Krishna will certainly accept him due to his love for you. So this is very, very significant for us, right? Because we are all aspiring devotees and we want to be accepted by Krishna, right? That's what we're meditating on when we chant our japa, right? Oh Hare, oh Krishna, oh Rama, please accept me. Please accept me as your servant. Please engage me in your loving service. Please allow me to be your devotee. So we want to be accepted by Krishna. And Lord Chaitanya is saying that to be accepted by Krishna, what do we have to do? We have to love a devotee. He said, because the king loves you, Ramananda Roy, surely Krishna will accept him. He's very fortunate. So Prabhupada says, this is the method. This is the method for becoming a devotee, for being accepted by Krishna, for making spiritual advancement, for going back to Godhead. we have to love and serve a devotee. So Maharaj Prataparuja was very intelligent, and he understood this. And so he did everything he could to facilitate Ramananda Roy's service to the Lord. Right? He gave him, he was working full-time for the government. Right? He was in part of the administration. And Prataparuja said, you can have like indefinite leave from your position, from your job, and I'll continue to give you full salary. Who does that, right? But Prataparuja did it as a service, right, to facilitate and support and care for this devotee who was so dear to Lord Chaitanya. And so Lord Chaitanya, that really warmed his heart. Oh, this king is serving my devotee by providing for him, by providing a full salary for allowing him to come and serve me in Jagannath Puri. So, the goal is Krishna Prema, and we're trying to love Krishna. But even if we don't love Krishna, if we love a devotee, then we're doing well. We're very fortunate. And that is the pathway to loving Krishna, because when Krishna sees that we love his devotees, especially if we love a pure devotee, then Krishna softens his heart towards us, and he accepts us as his own. And I was remembering one pastime that I heard about Mother Urmila. So Mother Urmila was from a Jewish family, a very wealthy Jewish family, and her father one time came to visit Srila Prabhupada. And so he was talking to Srila Prabhupada. He was a very, very cultured gentleman. So he and Prabhupada were having a very sweet conversation. And Prabhupada was telling him that we need to love God. And then this man was saying, he said, I'm not sure how much love I have for God. I'm practicing the principles of my religion very strictly, and he was a devout Jew. But he was kind of not feeling it, And then Prabhupada said to him, he said, that's okay, because you love your daughter. And he says, yes, I definitely love my daughter. I can say that with confidence. He said, you love your daughter, and your daughter loves me, and I love Krishna. Therefore, you love Krishna. So this is the method. Right? This is the principle of disciplic succession. It's not just that knowledge is coming down and mercy is coming down, but also love is going up. Right? So we love our gurus. Our gurus love the previous acharyas. Previous acharyas love Krishna. So we love Krishna. By loving our guru, we love Krishna. And by loving the servants of the guru, we love our guru. Even if we don't love our guru, if we love a servant of our guru, we love our guru. So it's like that. That's how Krishna sees it. So somehow or other we have to love a devotee. We have to develop these loving relationships. And Rupa Goswami explains how to do that in the Sri Upadeshamrita Nectar of Instruction. He says, Dadati pratigrinati guyam akyati prichati bhukte bojayate chaiva shadvidam pratilakshanam. It says, by offering gifts to devotees, by accepting gifts also, by revealing one's mind in confidence, and also inquiring confidentially about, devotees' lives and their realizations, and asking them questions about Krishna consciousness and listening carefully. And then by offering prasadam, right? Giving prasadam or inviting devotees over for prasadam, accepting invitations for prasadam. And then by these six loving exchanges, we come to love devotees. These are the things that we do to foster love, to cultivate love, to awaken that love. And then by engaging the six loving exchanges with devotees, that also awakens our dormant love for Krishna. So the two things are happening simultaneously. So we'll go on to text 28. This is a very famous verse here that is often quoted from the Adi Purana. We can say it together. Ye me bhakta jana partha, na me bhaktas chate janaha, mad bhakta nam cha ye bhaktas, te me bhakta tamamataha. A lot of bhaktas there. So this is a verse that's very focused. And Krishna is speaking this verse, and he's speaking about how to be a devotee of him. He says, those who are my direct devotees are actually not my devotees. Right? So if we think, I'm a devotee of Krishna, Krishna's like, no, you're not. Alright, so what to do then? He says, but those who are devotees of my servant are factually my devotees. So, to be a devotee of Krishna means to be a devotee of Krishna. This is the secret. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is quoting this verse, and Rupa Goswami also includes it in his book, the Laghu Bhagavatamrita. Let's go to text 2930. So now we know that the secret of Krishna consciousness is to serve a devotee, to love a devotee, to be a devotee of a devotee. So then we need to understand who is a devotee, right? Because if we're going to devote ourselves to a devotee, we have to make sure that we're devoting ourselves to a genuine devotee and not someone who's a false devotee or a covered impersonalist or something like that, right? So now Lord Chaitanya is going to quote these verses, 2 verses from the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, to describe who is a devotee that we should serve and love. Adara parichayayam sarvangar abhivandanam madbhakta puja vyadika sarvabhuteshu manmati mad artesh vanga cheshtacha vachasa mad guner anam mayarpanam cha manasa sarvakama vivarjanam. So many important things here. Translation: My devotees take great care and respect in rendering me service. They offer obeisances to me with all their bodily limbs. They worship other devotees and find all living entities related to me. For me, they engage the entire energy of their bodies. They engage the power of speech in the glorification of my qualities and form. They also dedicate their minds unto me and try to give up all kinds of material desires. Thus, my devotees are characterized. So this is from a section of 11th canto, chapter 19, which is part of several chapters of 11th canto, which are called the Uddhava Gita. So we have the Bhagavad Gita, which everyone's familiar with, and then there's also the Uddhava Gita, which is all spoken by Krishna to his very dear devotee Uddhava. And it's said that this Uddhava Gita is actually more advanced than the Bhagavad Gita, because he's speaking specifically about devotional service, devotees, qualities of devotees, how to have love for Krishna, and levels of devotees. There's just so much there in the Uddhava Gita. And this is one of the last, this was spoken after the Bhagavad Gita. So this is, you could say, kind of Krishna's final instructions, right? It's in the 11th canto, towards the middle. So this is like just before Krishna is going to wind up his pastimes. These are the last instructions that he left for us on this planet. And Uddhava was such a confidential associate. Krishna sent Uddhava to Vrindavan to talk to the gopis. Uddhava learned how to love Krishna from the gopis of Vrindavan. This is how advanced Uddhava was. And so whenever someone speaks, they can speak according to the level of qualification of the hearer. So of course Arjuna is also very qualified, very confidential. He was a friend of Krishna, and he was, without any envy of Krishna, and like that. But Uddhava was kind of next level. Uddhava was really, he went to Vrindavan, he spoke with Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, he witnessed Srimati Radharani and was there together with her, practically one-on-one in her, most intense expression of Mahabhav, in separation from Krishna. And it was after all that Krishna delivers these instructions to Uddhava, knowing that he have these amazing bhakti experiences and understanding. So here he's describing the devotees. So I want to just maybe break this down a little bit because it's so important. So adara paricharyayam. So adara means with great care and respect. There's a verse, the verse in Nectar of Instruction, where Rupa Goswami is talking about how to chant the holy names. He says that we should chant with adara. We should chant the holy names with adara, with great care and respect, very attentively, very carefully, with feeling, right? So he's saying paricharya, and paricharya means in service. Like pari means all around, like all kinds of service. So we should, in everything that we do, in all of our services, we should have this mood of respect and care. So whatever we're doing, do with great care and attention, and do in a reverential way. Right? Do it like this is very valuable. This is the thing that's like saving me. My japa, my seva, they say your seva will save you. So we should really think like that with great reverence and great care. And then he says, Sarva Angar Abhivandanam. So Vandanam means prayer. It's one of the 9 processes of devotional service. Abhivandanam means very prayerfully offering obeisances to the Lord with Sarva Anga, with all parts of the body. So when we come and pay obeisances to the Lord, we don't just do that, but get on the floor, all parts of the body, head, hands, legs, elbows, offer obeisances with our whole being, also with our heart, with our mind, everything. Offering obeisances to the Lord. And then Mad Bhakta Puja So this means, puja. Puja means worshiping. So it means worshiping my devotees. And this is what we're talking about, right? Serving the devotees, loving the devotees, worshiping the devotees. So we do that every morning at Guru Puja, right? We're worshiping Srila Prabhupada, offering artis, offering flowers, glorifying him with song. So this is worship. And we can worship devotees, we can worship all devotees in different kinds of ways according to our relationship with them. Right? So puja doesn't always just mean offering arti or something, but it means serving the devotees, helping devotees, facilitating them in different ways. Then, sarva bhuteshu manmati. Realizing, right? Mati means having this consciousness, like thinking within your mind, or realizing that all living beings, sarva bhuteshu, are mad, Krishnas, that there are Krishnas, that they have a relationship with Krishna. So when we see other people, all living beings, right? Sarva bhuteshu means everyone who is here in a material body in the material world. So that's not just humans, but also animals, plants, insects, birds, everything alive is in relation with Krishna, is Krishna's. So we don't exploit other people or animals or plants for our sense gratification, because we see these are not for my enjoyment, these are Krishna's. And we see the soul inside the body, whatever type of body they have. And we want to try to benefit that soul by sharing Krishna consciousness in whatever way we can. So Krishna says this is the vision of an enlightened person, one who's actually received knowledge. Because in Bhagavad Gita he says that just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. And then the next verse, 435, he says that having obtained knowledge from such a self-realized soul, then you will realize, you will never again fall into illusion, because you will realize that all living beings are a part of me, or in other words, that they are mine. So this is the outcome of having real knowledge and realization, is that we have this vision of Sarva Bhuteshu Manmati, that everyone is Krishna's, and everything and everyone is meant for Krishna's service. So that brings us to the next one, that Mad Arteshu Angacheshta Cha. That, Mad Arta means for Krishna's benefit. And Angacheshta, we engage our angas, the limbs of our bodies, in cheshta means activities, like actual physical activities. For what? For Krishna's benefit, in Krishna's service. So we use all the limbs of our body in Krishna's service. That's the symptom of a devotee. And then next, Vachasa Mad Guneranam. Vachasa means speech. Right? We all have the urge to speak. We want to say something to somebody. We want to be heard. Vacho Vega. This urge to speak is very strong. So he says, how should we use our speech? In Mad Guneranam, in describing the qualities of Krishna. And Krishna is saying, describing my qualities. So we speak about Krishna. This urge to speak, we can engage our urge to speak very nicely by speaking about Krishna, by chanting the holy names of Krishna, by reciting scripture, describing Krishna and discussing those points amongst each other. So that purifies us and it purifies everyone, and it's relishable, right? It's the way to enjoy transcendental bliss. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha, right? And the great Krishna says that his devotees are always deriving great satisfaction and bliss by always enlightening each other and conversing about him. So this is a quality of a real devotee. Then he says, Maya arpanam chamanasa. Yeah, so mine unto me, arpanam, dedicating, manasa, the mind. So dedicating our minds, our hearts, our feeling to Krishna. Always thinking of Krishna, in other words, man mana bhavamat bhakto. And then the last one is sarva kama vivarjana, means giving up. Vivarjana means just throwing away sarva kama, all material desires for sense gratification. So when we observe these qualities in another person, then we can understand that this is a person that I need to serve. This is a person that I need to have a relationship with. I need to serve them. I need to worship them. I need to love them. And by loving a devotee who has these qualities, then this is a pure devotee who's totally dedicated to Krishna, then our love for Krishna awakens. Then Krishna notices. Krishna takes very strong note of that relationship, and he accepts us as his servants. So now text 31. This is Lord Shiva speaking to his wife. Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnur aradhanam param tasmat parataram devi tadiyanam samarchanam. Lord Shiva told Goddess Durga, my dear Devi, although the Vedas recommend worship of demigods, the worship of Lord Vishnu is topmost. However, above the worship of Lord Vishnu is the rendering of service to Vaishnavas, who are related to Lord Vishnu. So this is the words of Lord Shiva. And he's saying that the best worship is worship of Lord Vishnu. But even better than that is to worship a Vaishnava, a devotee of Lord Vishnu. So, and then in the purport, Prabhupada even brings it up to a higher level. So this is interesting. The Vedas are divided into 3 divisions: Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and Upasana Kanda. These are activities dealing with fruitive work, empiric philosophical speculation, and worship. There are recommendations in the Vedas for the worship of various demigods as well as Lord Vishnu. In this quotation from the Padma Purana, Lord Shiva answers a question posed to him by Goddess Durga. This verse is also included in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita 2.4 by Srila Rupa Goswami. The words Vishnur Aradhanam refer to the worship of Lord Vishnu or Krishna. So, yeah, a lot of people worship, especially from the Hindu background, worship Lord Shiva, thinking that Lord Shiva is the ultimate object of worship. But here Lord Shiva himself is saying no, that the ultimate object of worship is Lord Vishnu. But even more than that, even better than that, is worshipping the Vaishnava. Thus, the supreme form of worship is the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. It is further concluded that the worshipper of Lord Vishnu renders better service by worshipping the devotee of Lord Krishna. Now Prabhupada said, there are different types of devotees. Those in Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakyaras, Vatsalyaras, and Madhurya-ras. Although all the rasas are on the transcendental platform, Madhurya-ras is the supreme transcendental mellow. Consequently, it is concluded that the worship of devotees engaged in the Lord's service in Madhurya-ras is the supreme spiritual activity. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers mainly worship Lord Krishna in Madhurya-ras. Other Vaishnavacharyas recommend worship up to Vatsalya-ras. That's the Sri Sampradaya Pushti Marg, right? It's like most people from Gujarat worship like Ladu Gopal and Muda, isn't it? Vatsalya-ras. Therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami in his Vidagdha Madhava 1-2 describes Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's call as supreme. Anarpita charim chirat karunaya vatirna kalo samarpayitum unnato jvalasam swabhakti shriyam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in this age of Kali to exhibit the super excellence of Madhurya Rasa, a gift never previously bestowed by any acharya or incarnation. Consequently, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is accepted as the most magnanimous incarnation. It is he only who distributed love of Krishna while exhibiting the super excellence of loving Krishna in the conjugal rasa. So, this is what Lord Chaitanya gave us. He gave us the highest thing. Out of all the relationships that one may have with Krishna, the most intimate, the most confidential is the Madhurya Rasa. Right? Just like in this world, we may have many relationships. You have a boss that you serve, so that relationship is like master-servant. It's like Dasya Rasa. And then you have friends that you hang out with, and you might play together or something. So that's Sakya Rasa. And then you have your parents, maybe you are parents and have your children, so that's an even more intimate relationship, right? The love between parents and children is very, very strong and very, sweet. So that's Vatsalya Rasa. But then there's the relationship between husband and wife, and that relationship is more confidential, right? That involves aspects that are not in any other relationship, right? In like the husband-wife relationship, there's also friendship, there's also caring for each other, there's also service, but there's more, right? So that relationship contains all the elements of all the other relationships and is more intimate than any of the other relationships. So it's amazing that a soul can have that kind of relationship with Krishna. Right? The soul can actually be a lover of Krishna. That's what Madhurya Rasa is that you have a conjugal relationship with the Lord. And so we see that in the gopis of Vrindavan, headed by Srimati Radharani. We see that in the queens of Dwarka. Krishna married 16,108 queens, and all these very fortunate, exalted, pure women have a conjugal relationship with Krishna. And our acharyas, all of our acharyas, practically, are in Madhurya Rasa. Right? There's a book by Kavi Karnapur called the Gora Ganadesh Dipika, and it gives the identities of all Lord Chaitanya's associates in Vrindavan. Right? So Lord Chaitanya has his pastimes, and we're reading those in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So all these personalities, like we're hearing about Ramananda Roy, Maharaj Pratapuruja, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and Swarup Damodar, and all of these associates. So from that book we can learn who are they in Krishna's pastimes, because Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, and so whenever the Lord descends, he comes with all of his eternal associates. So when Krishna comes as Lord Chaitanya, all of Krishna's associates come as Lord to facilitate, to assist in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. And so all of the gopis of Vrindavan and their assistants, the manjaris of Vrindavan, they come to help Lord Chaitanya. So you see, we're talking about Ramananda Roy. So Ramananda Roy is either Lalita or Vishaka Saki, who is like the most confidential, close friend of Srimati Radharani, and assists in facilitating their pastimes. So like that we can know. And then we also know about our acharyas, right? We know that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is also a gopi in Goloka, that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is also a gopi in Goloka. So our acharyas, we're coming in this line of Madhurya Rasa. And so this is a great gift that Lord Chaitanya has given, and Rupa Goswami glorifies him that no one has ever given this gift before. This is unheard of, practically, to explain this confidential topic in this material world. And yet Lord Chaitanya came in Kali Yuga and gave the highest thing, the most confidential thing, to the most fallen people. Right? Because in Kali Yuga, everyone is Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Hupadrita. Everyone is short-lived, lazy, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. That's us. That's kind of like characterizes people in this age. But Lord Chaitanya, even to us, he gave us this highest thing. So This is very amazing. So Prabhupada is recommending here that we should try to serve a devotee, right? This is Lord Chaitanya is saying it, Lord Shiva is saying it, Krishna is saying it, Prabhupada is saying it, and he's saying we should try to serve a devotee who has all the qualities that we read about in the previous verse. And then Prabhupada is saying that, and if you can, try to serve a devotee who's in Madhurya Ras, because that is the highest. And someone who is in Madhurya Ras can give Madhurya Ras, can give you entrance into Madhurya Ras. And of course they can also give you entrance into any other Ras also, because within Madhurya Ras are all the other Rasas. Just like if you have $100, you also have $10. If you have $100, you can buy something that costs $10 or $20 or $50 because you have $100. So if you have Madhurya Ras, that's the highest thing, that's the most valuable thing. So if someone can give you Madhurya Ras, they can also give you Vatsalya Ras, Sakya Ras, Dasya Ras, whatever Ras you're inclined towards. So, like that. I'll read one more verse here, text 32, and that kind of like wraps up this section about the glories of serving devotees. Durapa yalpa tapasa seva vaikunta vartmasu yatro pagiyate nityam deva devo janardana. Those whose austerity is meager can hardly obtain the service of the pure devotees progressing on the path back to the kingdom of Godhead, the Vaikunthas. Pure devotees engage 100% in glorifying the Supreme Lord, who is the Lord of the demigods and the controller of all living entities. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.7.20, spoken by Vidura in his conversation with Maitreya Rishi, a great devotee of the Lord. So he's saying that those whose austerity is meager cannot really obtain the service of pure devotees. So it's not everyone that gets this great fortune of being able to serve devotees. This is a great privilege. Like if you have the opportunity to serve a devotee, especially to serve a pure devotee, especially to serve a devotee who is in Madhurya Ras, that is like something very rare and very exceptional. It means you've done good things in your previous life and in this life, right? To be able to be in a position where you can serve a devotee. Not everybody has this opportunity, right? Those whose austerity is meager, whose tapasa is alpa, who is small. For them, it is very difficult, durapa, it's very difficult for them to get this opportunity. So, somehow or other, we've gotten this good fortune, whether we did something in our previous life, or whether we did something in this life, or we've just been somehow recipients of the causeless mercy of the Lord, to be able to come into the association of devotees. And once we come into the association of devotees, then we have plenty of opportunities to serve devotees, right? Through serving prasadam, through helping, through giving donations, through just asking questions in class. That's a service, right? Inquiring. So there's so many different services. Chanting together, reading together, discussing, and facilitating devotees in different ways, practically unlimited ways that we can serve devotees. And then specifically, we can serve Srila Prabhupada by serving his mission, right? Srila Prabhupada had a huge mission, right? To spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. This is basically the mission of Lord Chaitanya, to spread the holy names to every town and village. And so there's still so much more work that needs to be done. There's still so many people on this planet who have never heard of Krishna. Right? They've never heard the words Hare Krishna. And so there's plenty to do, right? We can go out there and spread the holy names. We can distribute books. We can do social media posts. We can give online classes. We can support those who are doing those things. We can sponsor books. We can donate to devotees who are traveling and preaching. We can, cook for devotees who are going out in book distribution or something like that, right? Make cookies so that they can distribute cookies out in the prasadam out in the street, or whatever. Try to somehow, be a cog in the wheel of this wonderful Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya. And by that we can very quickly get the attention of Lord Chaitanya. We can very quickly get his merciful glance and be accepted by the Lord as his servant. There's another verse that when I read this verse, text 32, it reminded me of another verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, which I want to share with you here. This is 10:51-53. It says, I'll just read the translation. When the material life of a wandering soul has ceased, O Achyuta, he may attain the association of your devotees. And when he associates with them, there awakens in him devotion unto you, who are the goal of the devotees and the Lord of all causes and their effects. So he's saying, when your material life is over, when you're sojourn in this material world, and we've been here for many lifetimes, many births and deaths, and each time it's like just getting more karma and more karmic reactions and suffering again and again. And so he's saying that when the material life of a wandering soul has ceased, right? When this nightmare is over, when it's coming to an end, when we're about to go back home, back to Godhead, then the sign of that is you get the association of devotees. And you get the opportunity to serve devotees. And by doing that, then our devotion to the Lord awakens. So I'll read the purport here because it's interesting. Acharyas Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti agree on the following point. Although it is stated here that when material life ceases, one attains the association of devotees, in fact, it is the association of the Lord's devotees that enables one to transcend material existence. Srila Jiva Goswami explains this apparent inversion of sequence by quoting the Kavya Prakash as follows. I'll skip the Sanskrit because I can't really see it very well. A statement in which the logical order of a cause and its effect is reversed should be understood as ati shayokti, emphasis by extreme assertion. Srila Jiva Goswami cites the following commentary on this statement. To express the swift action of a cause, one may assert the result before the cause. So he's saying that in order to emphasize the importance of association with devotees, he puts the effect before the cause. Like usually we say, this is the cause, and if you do this, this is what happens. But here they're saying that this is what happens when you do this, right? Or as if the effect is actually the cause of the effect. So the effect is that your material life is over, and the cause is that you associate with devotees. But the way he's saying is that when your material life has ceased, then you can associate with devotees. So basically, this is a way of using words to emphasize the importance of the cause. So the cause is association with devotees. So this is so important, this association of devotees, and this is one of the 5 potent processes that Rupa Goswami gives us in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, right? Associating with devotees. So associating with devotees, chanting the holy names, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, living in a holy place, and worshipping the deity. So we do all of those. But the thing is that without the association of devotees, we're not going to do any of those. And if we associate with devotees, then we're going to end up doing all of those. Because by associating with devotees, then devotees will engage us in chanting the holy name, in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, and worshipping the deity, coming and seeing the deity, in living in a holy place, in a community of devotees, and always serving, having opportunities to serve devotees. So Srila Prabhupada very kindly and very thoughtfully established ISKCON, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And he did so to create a space, right? To create a space where devotees can come together, so that we have temples, we have venues where devotees can come together and serve each other and support each other in serving the Lord and serve the mission of the Lord and serve each other in serving the mission of the Lord and engaging in all these 6 loving exchanges of giving and exchanging gifts, offering, accepting prasadam, disclosing one's mind, hearing from each other, sharing our hearts with each other. And when we do these, then we get the attention of the Lord, and the Lord accepts us as his devotees. So we're very grateful to Srila Prabhupada for everything that he's given us, and the process. He's given us the place, he's given us the tools, the paraphernalia, the process, the knowledge, He's given us everything, a complete package. That if we just accept this, just take shelter of Srila Prabhupada and his instructions and his society of ISKCON, then it's guaranteed that Krishna is going to accept us and we are going back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So any questions or comments on these points? Yes, Tulsi Saki.
Hare Krishna Prabhupada. I'm not asking questions because I have the doubt, which actually I do, but I'm just doing because you said it's a service. So you were mentioning from the verse that Lord Shiva mentions that those who serve a devotee are dear to Vishnu. And you understand that Lord Shiva himself is Vaishnavi, the Passion Buddha, supermost of devotees. But then in the four categories, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, you don't consider him exactly in that categorization. Do we? I don't know. We know we worship. We read the prayers of Lord Shiva, so I guess there is some. I don't know. That's right. That was my question.
Kind of like which rasa is Lord Shiva in with Krishna? Interesting question. I don't think I've ever heard anyone discuss that. But if we kind of look at their relationship,
I feel Dasya is there because he's offering prayers.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of leaning towards is Dasyaras. But Lord Shiva was very difficult to understand. And definitely he did have a desire to, be a part of Krishna's Raj Leela, right? And Krishna gave him the position of being kind of like a gatekeeper, right? Vrindavana Maj, he's there. Lord Shiva is referred to there in the Rajdam Mahamrita song, Jai Radhe Jai Krishna Jai Vrindavan. So, Jai Jai Gopishvara, Jaya Jaya Gopishvara Vrindavana Maj. So he's there. When we go and do pilgrimage in Vrindavan, we start by offering our respects to Lord Shiva and praying to him to allow us to enter into Vrindavan Dham, to have a real, genuine connection with the Dham. So he's also there, and Vrindavan Dham basically means Madhurya Ras, although there are all the relationships in Vrindavan, but the Madhurya Ras permeates everything. Right? Even the other relationships are tinged are supporting. All the other relationships are supporting Krishna's and Madhurya Ras in Vrindavan. So Lord Shiva is also doing his part to play. Even in Dasya Ras, he's supporting Krishna's Madhurya Ras. So like that. Yeah. But I was thinking too, that question popped up in my mind because Lord Shiva was saying, don't worship me, worship Lord Vishnu. But better than Lord Vishnu is to worship a devotee of Lord Vishnu. But then Lord Shiva is the best devotee of Lord Vishnu, so one might think, oh well, then we should worship you, because you're the devotee of Lord Vishnu. And so, yeah. And yeah, it's okay to worship Lord Shiva if we worship him as a devotee, if we're doing it in the mood of Vaishnava Seva, right, of worshiping the devotee. The problem comes when people become confused and think that Lord Shiva is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is the ultimate object of worship himself. Right? And that Krishna is neglected. So, but if we're worshiping Lord Shiva as the best devotee of Lord Krishna and praying to him, please, let me enter into Krishna's pastimes. Please ask Krishna to accept me and be kind to me and purify me and take me back home, back to Godhead. And then that's fine. But generally, we go through our own disciplic succession, right? So our succession is the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, which is mainly the Gaudiya. Mainly we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So we're following the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers. Prabhupada said we are Rupanugas. So we don't see, we see that Lord Chaitanya respects all the demigods, and Rupa Goswami says we should not disrespect the demigods. But we don't see that they are directly worshipping demigods like Lord Shiva. So we worship in the manner in which we're taught to worship by the 6 Goswamis headed by Rupa Goswami. And that's the process that Srila Prabhupada has given us. Right? Who had their hand up? Lalita Sundari?
Thank you for nice class. Nice to see you on 2 consecutive days on the classes.
Somehow or other.
I have 2 questions. My first question is, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's incarnation was, the main reason was to give causeless person, right? To disproportionate to qualification, to give Harinam his association for everyone. That was the main reason. But here he is refusing to give his association to the king. Of course, in previous classes we discussed, because he is trying to set the standard for sannyasi, how a sannyasi is supposed. But that was not the reason for his incarnation, right?
Yeah.
How do we reconcile?
Yeah, this thing with Maharaj Prataparuja, on the one hand, it's kind of like with Lord Chaitanya, there's always an internal and an external, right? Even giving the holy name to the fallen souls, that wasn't it wasn't exactly his main purpose. That was kind of like just his cover. Because in Kali Yuga, there has to be a Yuga avatar who teaches the Yuga Dharma. And the Yuga Dharma is Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nastiva, Nastiva, Nastiva Gatiranyata. In this age of Kali, there's no other means of deliverance except the holy name of the Lord. So, in most Kali Yugas, a Yuga avatar comes and teaches the process of chanting the holy names. And so, Lord Chaitanya, he came, ostensibly with that purpose. And he did that purpose. He did that purpose gloriously, of spreading the holy names all over India and empowering others to keep it going after him. But his main purpose was actually to experience the love of Srimati Radharani for Krishna. Right? That was his internal purpose. And so even in his dealings with Maharaj Prataparuja, there's the external purpose, which is to set the standards for sannyas behavior. But there's also an internal purpose, which is to increase the hankering, the transcendental longing of Maharaj Prataparuja for his association, for his service. Right? Because Rupa Goswami says that there's only one qualification for going back home, back to Godhead, and that is loyam. We need to have this intense desire, right? Loyam, it also means greed. We need to be intensely greedy for it. We have to want it so badly that we don't care about anything else. We're willing to sacrifice everything else for that. Right? So Maharaj Prataparuja got to the point where he was like, you know what? I'm going to renounce the kingdom. I'm going to give up everything if that's what it takes to get the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I throw away this crown. I throw away all my kingly garments. I don't care about the treasury. I don't care about the power. The only thing that matters to me is Lord Chaitanya's mercy. And so when he did that, when he took off his royal garb and he just dressed up as a simple, humble Brahmin, and he went there barefoot, with just his little cotton dhoti and chadar, and he was massaging the feet of Lord Chaitanya and reciting verses from Bhagavatam, as he had been advised to by Ramananda Roy and others. Then Lord Chaitanya accepted him. So sometimes Krishna does that to us. Sometimes Krishna will feel like Krishna's keeping a distance, like we're trying to serve Krishna, we want to feel Krishna's presence, we want to feel his love, we want to feel him, but it seems like he's so far away. Krishna, why? I'm here, I've given up so many things for you, where are you? Right? But Krishna's keeping a distance because he wants to increase our hankering and increase our level of surrender, and to come to that certain point. And then when we come to that certain point, then Krishna's embraces us, just like he's going to embrace Maharaj Prataparuja. So in his mind, Lord Chaitanya, he was saying, no, I'm not going to talk to him. Don't keep insisting that I talk to him. But in his heart, he was like, Prataparuja is my devotee. And it's just kind of, it's their relationship. He's just trying to squeeze out the juice, he's trying to boil the milk, and condense it, condense, make it sweeter and sweeter and sweeter, and that relationship. So how do you condense milk? You have to put it on the fire, right? You have to boil it. So sometimes Krishna puts us through the fire. He puts us through some fire of ordeal, the fire of separation. But that intensifies our relationship, our loving relationship.
My second question is, you told we need to serve devotees in Madhurya. We're very fortunate if we can give that opportunity. Of course, you gave example of Srila Prabhupada. But if we personally meet a person who is in Madhurya, we cannot recognize them because it's mostly concealed. They don't reveal that they're in Madhurya. So what are your thoughts? How do we recognize a devotee in Madhurya?
Yeah. The thing is that because Lord Chaitanya came to give this Madhurya Ras, and practically every single person in the disciplic succession from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Madhurya Ras, so then there's a good chance, right? We can almost safely assume that at least most of the devotees who are, in this line of the Goswamis are in Madhurya Ras. Right? Of course, there are going to be exceptions, right? Like even Lord Chaitanya's associate Marari Gupta was, he was a Ram Bhakta. He wasn't even a Krishna Bhakta, right? He was a Ram Bhakta. And then most of Nityananda's followers are in Sakya Ras. So, but Madhurya Ras is very much emphasized by our acharyas. And Srila Prabhupada also, he gave us the worship of Radha Krishna. Some temples he gave Krishna Balaram, but even where he gave Krishna Balaram, he also, Radha Krishna also there. There's no temple where there's not Radha Krishna or Gaur Nitai. So Lord Chaitanya is Radha Krishna together. So, and if we have this desire to serve Krishna in Madhurya Ras, and to serve a devotee of Krishna who is in Madhurya Rasa, then Krishna is going to lead us to that association. We don't have to worry. We may not know, but Krishna knows. Is that okay? Okay. Anything else? So then everyone take some time and make a plan for how you're going to serve a devotee. Because if we're serious about spiritual life, we need to serve a devotee. So think about it every day. Every day you wake up in the morning and think, how am I going to serve a devotee? Which devotee am I going to serve today, and what am I going to do to serve that devotee? And it can be direct or indirect, right? We can directly do something for a devotee who is with us, we are physically together with, or we can serve indirectly by facilitating that devotee, or facilitating another devotee, or serving Srila Prabhupada's mission. Right? And practically whatever services that we do for ISKCON, right? Any services that we do here in the temple, even if it's just washing the trays after prasadam, or sweeping the floor, or picking up garbage on the ground, or something like that, that's a service to the temple, and this is Prabhupada's temple, so that's service to Prabhupada. That's service to Prabhupada's movement, and that is also service to Vaishnavas. Right? But we should also try to do some very personal service, because we are trying to develop our loving relationships with devotees. And so, we should really think how to serve a devotee. And I was thinking that's a nice thing about Grihastha ashram. Because when you're in a devotee family, you have practically constant opportunities to serve devotees, right? If you're the mother, you're always serving your devotee children by encouraging them in Krishna consciousness in different ways. You're a wife, so you're always serving your husband, cooking for him, offering bhoga, serving prasadam to the whole family. So there's all day, you're just serving devotees. And then, say husband is going out to work, he's doing his job. Why? To serve the family, to provide for them, so that they're all devotees. So you're if you're donating to the temple, that money is going to temple, devotee care in the temple, providing, facility and opportunities for devotees. So that's devotee. But if you're working and that money is going towards paying your rent and paying the bills and buying groceries for your devotee family, that's also Vaishnava Seva, right? Or for your home deity worship, and so the family can engage in the worship of the deity at home. That's Vaishnava Seva, right? Children are helping out, doing household chores to help their mother and help the father. That's Vaishnava Seva, right? Paying obeisances to the parents and being respectful and helpful and sweet. That's Vaishnava Seva. Whatever you're doing that's pleasing your parents, that's service. So, yeah, it's nice to live with devotees, either in a family or in an ashram. Like we have Krishna House across the street, where devotees, single devotees, can live together and serve each other, right? So often the ladies there are cooking and sharing prasadam, or cleaning the house, or buying boga, coming with some fruits or something to, assist devotees in serving the Lord, and yeah. So many opportunities for Vaishnava Seva when we live with devotees. So that's very important, is to live. That's one of the potent processes, to live in a holy place. So to live in a holy place means to live with devotees, either in your temple, in an ashram, in your devotee household. But to live with devotees, or at least spend a lot of time with devotees, because then we're going to be engaged in service. And that is the secret of success in spiritual life. Okay, so we'll wrap it up. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vaishnava Seva ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.